Welcome everybody. Great to see you all, and thanks so much for joining. Our format today will be to brief you on our vision, what we're solving, a demo of our great app, and how we differentiate, which is what everybody wants to know these days. Then I'll hand over to our CFO, Matt Armandi, who will brief you on the financials and investment opportunity. We'll then cover details on our new RAA arm, Envel Investments LLC, brought to you by our CCO and investment strategy, Brian Higdon. So please stay here until the end because we've got a lot of exciting things to talk about. So let's get started. I'm Steve LaRue, founder and CEO of Envel. My background largely as a tech innovator, having launched the first CRM SaaS-based product and invented health tech products, helped innovate for conglomerates, experience across philanthropic ventures to government financial sector services. So quite a broad range there. I have a deep passion in innovating technology for good and delivering benefits to the masses, which very much sits in line with this business. Envel was founded within the grounds of Harvard. We're also an MIT Sandbox alumni company. To make it clear, we're a US-focused fintech banking challenger headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts, some 25 people strong, immensely talented and some purpose-driven members from Harvard, MIT, KPMG, JP Morgan, and Barclays. We're on a mission to predominantly help the lives of millions of students, graduates, and young professionals to manage their budgeting, savings and investments, and financial assets using automation to essentially live better lives. We want a better future for the next generation. So we started this journey when we looked at the Federal Reserve $400 study, if anybody's familiar with that, that illustrates how 45% of young working adult Americans do not have access to $400 in case of emergency. We worked very closely with MIT on devising a methodology but ultimately formulating a pattern, namely system and method for autonomous, intelligent, tunable compartmentalization of monetary transactions. Anybody's familiar with patterns, those are some wild titles. And substantial quantities of anonymized banking data from across the industry to see how automation could help people manage their money better. These results to us signaled that we can actually make an instrumental difference to people's lives by delegating some of the thinking to technology that can help in real time, 24/7, 365, with such decisions for many of us so frequently are far too mentally taxing. With 2 years of development, building partnerships, a year after launch, we now have almost 35,000 users. It's users, not downloads, users, and 210,000 banking accounts. And I'm proud to say we've helped many of these users squirrel away funds autonomously in ways that they never imagined and never lifted a finger. So we pushed our way in terms of growth over the last year up to rankings in the App Store. At our peak, we were 109, and we were very much alongside many of the unicorns, well capitalized. So we know we have what it takes. We believe what differentiates us is that we're fixated on user experience, like no other, and pride ourselves on working closely with the community of followers to build banking the future that they've always wanted. It is our belief, and many experts in the industry, that the future of finance is largely automated. If anything, to reduce operational costs, which any incumbent bank will tell you is typically handed over to the user, we're trying to build something that's far more efficient, that benefits the everyday consumer without the costs that come with it. The reality is that most cannot afford a financial advisor. And our quest is to digitize that in the form of AI. We're building an array of exciting products and asset classes, not just for the sake of it. That's not what we do as a business, but really to disrupt the world of banking by using the power of AI and automation to help people make better financial decisions. So partnerships are very much a key We're not in business of alienating ourselves from any other fintech player in the market, but seek to enhance their ability to support this market. Despite what some may say of crowded markets, there is ample room to grow. We're only all scratching the surface of the opportunity here. This is about displacement, old versus new, to better offerings that are faster, cheaper, and more conducive to financial health for us all. We've partnered with Q2, Plaid, DriveWealth, Pinwheel, and many other strategic partnerships. Will be uncovered shortly to deliver cutting-edge products and experiences that matter. So, without further ado, let me take you to the experience, and all of you would have seen. So maybe I'm going to run it through a quick demo, and DJ will press play on that. So welcome our experience. I thought I'd go through the whole thing right from scratch. It's a very fresh experience. We remove anxiety from it. So we present what's available to spend today. We have 5 main screens from the card to be able to activate your card and deactivate your card, change the PIN, so on and so forth. But we also enable you to create multiple accounts very, very quickly within seconds. And these accounts we call envelopes are all FDIC insured, and you can decide what you want them for, what kind of goal you want to set, and personalize them in many ways that typically most traditional banks don't offer. You can share them with your friends, and you can do that rather quickly. They're not quite joint accounts. They're really enabling each one of your friends to have access to it, but you are the owner. So we've managed security in a way that supports your financial health. So we also, you can move into the next screen, we also enable you to create virtual cards. So this is coming soon. So each one of those accounts, up to 99 envelopes, could also have virtual cards with them, and you can add them to your Apple Pay or Google Pay device, watch, so on and so forth, and delete them just as quickly as you create them. And obviously for going on holiday, for special events, for subscriptions, that might come in quite useful in terms of security. We also enable you soon to be able to fund your account instantly using your Apple Pay or Google Pay from your existing bank. If you have one with Bank of America and so on and so forth, you can deposit funds instantly into any of your envelopes without any delay whatsoever. But the real aspect of Envel really is the autopilot technology that we use to manage your paycheck and your deposit. We enable you to connect directly to your payroll. So you can log in this instance, logging into Amazon, and then deciding how much you want to draw from that account, whether it be all or a percentage of your salary, directly to your Envel account. Once we've got those funds, we then use autopilot, given what we know about you, to be able to split into the various different envelopes, namely spending, bills, emergency, and Vault. Now, Vault is a savings account with a little bit of friction, so it prevents you from spending too quickly. We also set up goals to enable you to aim for that. We're obviously moving a bit quickly here. So investments really is a new product that's coming soon, which you can round up your purchases, and crypto is another product that we're working on. That's something that last we funded around, people were asking a lot of, and we're going to work through different cryptocurrencies and offer that, namely Bitcoin, USDC, Ethereum, and the like. The whole thing here is about experience. We want to make it frictionless, easy for the masses, without the complexity and form filling that you so often see with a lot of banking apps. Less so today, but we're really taking the strain out of it. So we're trying to make the experience fun. Not many fun banking apps out there. Most people look at it and they go, oh gosh, I spent way too much. We're trying to remove the anxiety and add a bit of humor, and that's kind of the experience. So I'd say from an experience point of view, that's what we're fixated on. Next slide, please. So with respect to other fintechs, we get questions about differentiation, and these are just an example of features that we'll put on our main site. We found a site shortly. This particular table has been put together by an independent research firm called Scientia, providing impartial analysis. We've had no input whatsoever into it. So considering how big the companies are that we've listed here, from these kind of features that are more conducive to mobile banking, and these firms have been well capitalized. I believe our team's done exceptionally well within the last year, and there's just so much more to come. So I won't go through every single feature, but we'll certainly put it on the site. But getting access to one's payroll quickly, being able to set up goals without friction, being able to deposit funds quickly, and little things, full control over card. There are just many features that we've worked through with our community, again, community driven, to make sure that we're addressing first and foremost for the better experience of these users. The fundamentals we built is really an efficient platform that we believe the use of automation and AI can help us scale at marginal cost zero ultimately. And comparing this to traditional incumbent banks where scaling is highly inefficient and thus passes cost to the user, we are different. We're employing as much automation as we can and AI in all departments to reduce the cost of servicing a customer, and also delivering those technological benefits to the consumer's wallet. So here we go. For all those who haven't experienced this, I encourage you to download the product, but I shall provide a few more details later. And now I'm going to hand over to Matt, our CFO, to present the financials and in a little bit more detail.
Thanks, Diedrich. Thanks, Steve, and thanks, Diedrich, for the next slide. It's nice to meet everybody. Thanks for coming today. As some of you may have seen, I'm the one who mostly posts a lot of the questions or a lot of the responses on the WeFunder page and the updates, so it's good that I'm able to connect with the team. Just real quickly on my background, I've got almost 18 years of financial and accounting experience. I'm a CFO of a company in Aristotle International in DC and Predicted for about 7 years. I was a controller of one of the top RIAs in Virginia called Pagnetto Corp. I joined Envel in 2020 as kind of part-time and then moved over full-time in the fall of 2020 to be able to help the team here. And I just love the app and love the experience. I'm really excited to be here. Next slide, Diedrich. So I wanted to kind of spend a couple of different things. I only have a few minutes here, but I wanted to talk about revenue and the financials. So obviously we get a lot of questions about revenue and the financials on the website right now. It only says we had, I think, $113 of revenue. That's for 2020. Obviously, I wanted to show we can have more revenue here. This is the revenue month over month in the last 14 months. We've been a little hesitant to put out the full full revenue, or me answer any questions about revenue or the finances, because we're kind of in the middle of an audit, and that should be ready to be updated by the end of the week. Next week. And I didn't want to put like piecemeal information out there, so I kind of walked this through with WeFunder about what they were comfortable with me showing. They kind of said we could talk about revenue and some key stats here, but this will obviously come up on the website. You can see here this gross revenue versus net revenue. For those accountants out there, the net revenue is this principal versus agent consideration. Whenever you have revenue and you have kind of offsetting direct cost that's passed through, you have to net that together. So the blue line is really our GAAP revenue, where the interchange revenue is offset with the interchange expenses, where the red line is kind of our gross revenue. That's really the dollar for dollar take we get from the debit card usage. It flows up and down with the debit card usage, but obviously the net revenue can dip a little bit as some fees come in from Visa as they're passed through. I also wanted to mention about cash flow and burn rate. Obviously, there's a bunch of questions on the website about that. That obviously is always a concern for us. Cash flow is the key to all startups, small businesses, but almost every startup on crowdfunding or in general has cash flow issues, and this is kind of the life that we've all chosen to live. Everybody on the team has kind of made this decision, and there's a lot of things that we don't do. We kind of keep the staff very lean. We only have 25 people. There's many people on the team who kind of take their salaries at below market value because they believe in this company and where it's going to go. And so we try to keep the burn rate, in the 300 to 350 range, but it can get up to 400 depending on how much marketing we want to do and how that can grow. We typically raise between $1 million to $2 million every quarter, every 5 months. We set a goal out and we go out and we achieve it, and then we come back to the market and we continually fundraise. And that's why we've done kind of multiple fundraisers. We've been successful doing it with angel investors, and when we've done it in the first round through crowdfunding, and now we're coming back to crowdfunding. Next slide, Deidre. So the main focus of the company up to this point has been to grow users, and the user base, and to build out a really good product. And what we've done there is we've sat and we've listened to the community. We've figured out what features are good and bad. We've done town halls, we've done community forums, we've been on Discord with users, and we've invested a lot in the product. We've only really invested about $510,000 last year in marketing, and we've seen great results in customer acquisition. But over the now we're going to shift to more of a revenue focused company. And the reason this slide is also on the WeFunder page. This outlines all the product all the features that we plan to outline over the next year. And each one of these money bags, little features with a money bag, is a revenue generating item. So our goal is to get at least one, if not 2 or 3, different revenue generating items in the app over the next year, and different diversification of revenue. So now that we've built the user base up to about 32,000, it's time for us to start to monetize that user base and show, obviously investors and potential VCs that come through that we can monetize this user base. So each one of these features, most of them, the ones that have the money bags, are additional revenue generating items. I'm not going to go through all the different features here. There are some features here that are common among many different fintechs out there. The premium product, subscription-based revenue, is obviously something that not only the neobanks are doing these days, but everybody's kind of moving to a subscription-based model. Obviously, we want to be able to bring that. Joint accounts is something that students, that the simple users have requested many times. Student loans offers multiple different revenue generating products. Brian's going to talk about the automated stocks and the crypto in a minute. But there's a lot of different ways that we want to go, and really over the next year, generating revenue is going to be one of our main focuses. Next slide, DJ. I want to mention about the user base and the user growth here. Obviously, this has been what we've been working for to get into. Obviously, building a good product and then building up the user base. We had set a goal out to achieve around 10,000 users by July 2021. We got just over there across the line, I think, in early August, which was really exciting. We then built out the referral program, and what we had been to growing users up until then had been mostly through digital, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. We've been very successful with digital ads there. But then we decided to launch the referral program in the fall of 2021. Really, the big months when it came in were in October, November, and January of 2021. And what we found is when we open up the floodgates for the referral program, tons of users come in at a very low CAC. And this was a great marketing tool for us. We don't kind of turn it on for, and just let it go for a couple of reasons. The one is when we turn on the referral program, it's very capital intensive. So we need to be able to be well capitalized to be able to pay out the users who do the referral programs. And then 2, we really want to work on raising the bar to get good users. And so when we do a referral program, we look at the users that come in, we analyze them, we look at the active versus inactive ratios. It's a common trend in the digital banking space. And each time we do it, we want to come back out and do another referral program and get good, better users. Obviously, when we do a referral program, there's going to be people out there that just take the $5 and walk away. We want to minimize that as better. We want to get users that put their paychecks in, that use the debit card regularly. And each time we do the referral program, we want to get a new batch of good users, but we want to analyze them and then configure it again for the next batch. And that's kind of the stepping stones that we're walking to as we build up the user base. So I think that's all that I have. I know I'm a little over time. I want to give Brian as much time as he can, and then I'll turn it over to him. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Matt. I've been here since the beginning of Envel's launch in the App Store and journey, and it's really been a fantastic ride. My background's in traditional financial services and banking and consulting, but we're all very passionate and love the fintech space very much. Next slide. Great. So this is really one of the biggest accomplishments we've achieved as a company. We've established a registered investment advisor with the SEC. And what that allows us to do is offer investment strategies to clients where we serve as a fiduciary and invest on their behalf. Our launch strategy is going to be the fractional roundup strategy. And what this allows users to do is, as Steve described, with the AI functioning in the background and managing money for our users, we're able to fractionally invest a rounded up amount into the brands you love to spend at. And if those brands aren't publicly traded, we'd round up into an ETF, an exchange traded fund. So what this allows users to do is to expand their savings beyond just holding cash into actually gaining some exposure in the securities and equities where they spend their money, which is fantastic. So we're very excited about this strategy, and by running a licensed investment advisor, we're able to offer just a pipeline of additional strategies in the months and years to come. So very, very excited about this achievement. Next slide. The second major achievement on our roadmap here is the cryptocurrency piece. Most Americans in some capacity hold cryptocurrency, and it's a new asset class that Americans love to have exposure to. So we were one of just a handful of companies accepted to MasterCard's Start Path program. It's a crypto incubator program for startups like Envel to gain exposure to MasterCard and launch innovative technologies into the marketplace. So coming out of that program, we have an initial milestone on our roadmap to offer the buy, hold, and sell strategy that Steve described, where users can now invest and hold select cryptocurrencies to gain exposure to their growth. And then we have a first to market strategy that we're piloting with MasterCard and a couple other folks in industry, where users will be able to provision a MasterCard directly to their USDC wallet and spend in USDC. So we're very excited about that, and lots of exciting things in the months and years to come. But that's all I have for this slide. So without further ado, I think we can transition to the Q&A.
Yeah, we wanted to we obviously wanted to take questions, but we wanted to make sure we could address a bunch of things. So we might only have a couple times for a few questions. So Diedrich, I see one in the chat about interchange fees with ACH. We do not get interchange revenue on the ACH. We only get it on the debit card spend. So this is something that we're trying to focus to make more purchases on the debit card and less on the ACH. And it's actually been working. We've been able to get slight upticks in usage on the debit card, month over month. But this is obviously one of the key areas that we're focused on. I think there was another question about valuation, which I know we get a lot of those questions, and I'll just briefly speak to that. So. Yeah, I mean, we always value the company. We have, we kind of talked with consultants when we first started the company about valuation. Obviously, valuation, we can see that there's another competitor on the market there that has a tremendous valuation that we think is a little rich. But there's obviously a lot of judgments on valuation. We have always kind of tried to live by this $800 to $1,200 per user valuation. That's kind of where we've always thought. And whenever we kind of go into a new round, we look at where the user base is, and then we kind of try to keep it in that range. Now, obviously, there's things that come up and down in that, how successful the round is, where the round's going, how long the round is going to take to close. Obviously, on the crowdfunding rounds, they take a lot longer. There's a debate about whether we should value the company at what the company is on the start of a crowdfunding round versus what the company is going to be at the end of a crowdfunding round, because those rounds typically take 3 or 4 months. We try to put it right in the middle of that. We don't want to try to gouge and jump up to overvaluations. We understand this is a path, and that when users come in when VCs eventually come in for a later an A or B or C round, they're going to have their own valuation metrics, but this is kind of how we've always done it. Obviously, we've been successful, I think, at this point in valuing the company because we've had multiple rounds and been able to continue to close it. Obviously, on WeFunder, we did get a few questions about the discount. You know, obviously, when we were at Start Engine, I think we did a $35 million valuation, and then we discounted down to about a 32. Now we're here on WeFunder, we're doing a $40 million valuation, discounting it down to about a 31. We just really want to make these rounds successful, and so that's really the reason why we discount it down. You know, so there's obviously always a significant discount on that first early bird term. That's pretty common on almost all the crowdfunding platforms, and we want to make those, we want to make it count. So that's why we do that. I'm looking at some questions here. Let's see if we have enough time for one more. Can you give some insight on payment overflow protection? Feature listed in the roadmap. Payment overflow protection. So this is really sub accounts, Steve, right? The ability so that when you swipe your debit card in an account and there's not enough money in there, what happens? And currently, or under for some users, you know, the way that it used to work is that that debit card was declined. We've now introduced sub accounts, which is allowing multiple accounts to kind of be pulled together in the app. And that's on any new user who downloads the app today will get the new sub account version. The old users will be migrated over. But those users will then basically have the pool of the money in the parent account to protect the overflow. This has been a kind of a little bit of a pain point for some users, so that's why we're doing it, and we think it's going to be a big fix. David, you
actually an image, Matt, behind Matt's head is an image of sub accounts.
Yeah. All right, it's in testing right now. I mean, so new users get it now, and it's kind of past beta testing at this point. It's in the market, so new users will get it, and an existing user we're going to roll it out over the next months. But I think we're out of time. We really wanted to keep this to 30 minutes, and that was it.
Let me wrap up. I'd say, look, great stuff, Brian and Matt, and thanks to all those who have asked questions. We always take questions after this as well. There will be quite a few people watching this video, so not everybody will be necessarily here. And look, if you're in the US, please sign up for our app by going to our website. You'll get one of these. Let me see if I can get this a bit of an angle here. Okay, you'll get this, right? You know, we need your support to reinvent bank for the next generation. We've been incredibly successful on the WeFunder. We raised over 1.7 million. We spent weeks at the top, so we've had an immense support from the community, and you know, we can't thank our community enough for that, and we want to obviously emulate that here, and we're really excited about it. You can find us at WeFunder/Envel. Or scan our QR code, as you can see on the screen. It will take you straight there. But I'd just like to thank everybody for dialing in and watching. We really thoroughly enjoyed it. We thoroughly enjoyed preparing for it as well, and look forward to speaking to you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Owen.